My name is Sarah Mitchell, and for 15 years, I poured my heart and soul into building Harrison Enterprises from a modest tech company into an industry powerhouse. When I started as a junior software developer fresh out of college, old Mr. Harrison saw something in me that others missed. While most saw a quiet girl from a small town in Ohio, he recognized raw talent and determination. "You remind me of myself when I was younger," he told me during my first performance review. "Always thinking 3 steps ahead, always seeing possibilities others miss." Those words became my anchor through countless late nights debugging code, marathon project meetings, and endless client presentations. Year after year, I climbed the ranks, from developer to team lead, then to project manager, and finally to chief technology officer. Every promotion was earned through sweat, innovation, and an unwavering dedication to the company's success. Under my leadership, our software division transformed from a struggling department into the company's main revenue generator. I pioneered our shift to cloud computing before our competitors even understood its potential. My team developed the proprietary algorithms that would eventually become our flagship product, Harrison Cloud. But everything changed when old Mr. Harrison had a stroke. I remember that day clearly. I was in the middle of a client meeting when my assistant burst in, face pale. "Mr. Harrison, hospital. It's serious." The next few weeks were a blur of hospital visits, emergency board meetings, and desperate attempts to keep the company running smoothly while our founder and CEO fought for his life. Then came Marcus Harrison, the prodigal son, rushing back from his extended finding himself tour of Europe to take the reins of his father's company. I had met Marcus a few times over the years, usually at company holiday parties, where he'd make brief appearances before disappearing to whatever exotic location caught his fancy that month. From day one, Marcus made it clear he had different plans for Harrison Enterprises. "We need to modernize," he declared in his first board meeting, dismissing 15 years of steady growth and innovation with a wave of his manicured hand. "Everything's so old-fashioned here." I try to be diplomatic. "Perhaps we should review the company's current trajectory and success metrics before making any drastic changes," I suggested, sliding over a folder containing our latest quarterly reports. "Our cloud division alone has seen 300% growth in the past 2 years." Marcus didn't even glance at the numbers. "That's exactly what I'm talking about," he scoffed. "Cloud computing? That's yesterday's news. We need to be in blockchain, NFTs, the metaverse." Over the next 6 months, I watched in horror as Marcus systematically dismantled everything we had built. He hired a parade of flashy consultants, each with their own revolutionary vision for the company. Long-standing client relationships were neglected in favor of chasing trending tech buzzwords. Valuable team members were pushed out, replaced by Marcus's former classmates from business school. Through it all, I tried to maintain stability in my department. I worked double shifts to keep our core products running smoothly, while simultaneously trying to implement Marcus's latest visionary directives. But I could see the writing on the wall. The final confrontation came on a rainy Tuesday morning. I had just finished a presentation showing how Marcus's latest initiative, a luxury NFT marketplace for digital yacht ownership, had burned through millions in development costs without generating any revenue. "These numbers can't be right," Marcus snapped, his designer suit creasing as he leaned forward aggressively. "You're just too stuck in your old ways to see the potential." "The numbers don't lie, Marcus," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "We've lost 3 major clients this quarter alone. If we don't course correct..." "Course correct?" He cut me off, standing up so abruptly his chair toppled backward. "The only thing that needs correcting is you. You're the problem here, Sarah. You and your outdated thinking are holding this company back." I maintained my composure, even as I felt 15 years of dedication being crushed under the weight of his contempt. "I have given everything to this company, Marcus," I said. "Your father..." "My father isn't here anymore," he shouted, face reddening. "This is my company now, and I don't need some small-town nobody telling me how to run it. You're fired. Get out." The office fell silent. Dozens of faces turned away, pretending not to witness my humiliation. I slowly gathered my things, my mind already racing ahead to what needed to be done next. As I reached the door, Marcus couldn't resist one final jab. Good luck finding another job at your age. Maybe try something more your speed, like teaching basic computer skills at the local library. I turned back, meeting his smug gaze with a calm smile that seemed to unnerve him slightly. Thank you for the suggestion, Marcus. But I already have something lined up. What Marcus didn't know, what none of them knew, was that 5 years ago, I had started my own company on the side. Atlas Industries began as a small consulting firm, leveraging my expertise in cloud computing to help other companies modernize their infrastructure. While Harrison Enterprises had my loyalty during business hours, my nights and weekends were devoted to building something of my own. Those basic computer skills Marcus mocked had attracted an impressive client roster. Under the guidance of my carefully chosen CEO, who served as the public face of the company while I remained a silent owner, Atlas Industries had grown into one of the most respected names in enterprise cloud solutions. And tomorrow morning, Harrison Enterprises would be desperately pitching their services to Atlas Industries, unaware that the worthless employee they had just fired was actually the owner of the company they were trying to impress. As I drove home that evening, my phone buzzed with a message from my Atlas Industries CEO. Everything's set for tomorrow's meeting. You sure you want to handle this personally? I smiled, thinking of Marcus's smug face and what it would look like when he realized the truth. Absolutely, I replied. I wouldn't miss this for the world. The Atlas Industries headquarters occupied the entire top floor of the city's most prestigious office building. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered breathtaking views of the skyline, while the minimalist decor spoke of quiet confidence rather than flashy excess. I stood in my private elevator, watching floor numbers tick upward, mentally preparing myself for what was about to unfold. Good morning, Ms. Mitchell. My assistant Emma greeted me as I stepped out. After 5 years, she was one of the few who knew both sides of my life, the silent owner of Atlas Industries and the now former CTO of Harrison Enterprises. The Harrison team arrived 15 minutes ago. Mr. Marcus Harrison is quite vocal about the wait. I smiled, adjusting my tailored blazer. Gone was the intentionally understated wardrobe I'd worn at Harrison Enterprises. Today, I dressed the part of a CEO who could make or break a company's future. How long have they been waiting? 20 minutes, Emma replied, a hint of amusement in her voice. Mr. Harrison has mentioned his important position approximately 7 times. Well, I checked my reflection in the brushed steel walls. Let's not keep them waiting any longer. The main conference room fell silent as I entered. Marcus stood at the head of the table, mid-rant about the disrespect of being kept waiting. His new VP of sales, Derek, a former fraternity brother he'd hired to replace our veteran sales director, sat nearby, fumbling with presentation materials. Several board members, including Thomas Chen, who had always supported Marcus despite his reckless decisions, occupied the other seats. Finally, Marcus exclaimed, not bothering to hide his irritation. Do you have any idea who we— His voice died in his throat as I walked to the head of the table. The color drained from his face so quickly I thought he might faint. Sarah? He choked out my name like it physically pained him. Good morning, gentlemen, I said, keeping my voice professional, setting my briefcase down with a quiet click that seemed to echo in the stunned silence. I apologize for the delay. Shall we begin discussing Harrison Enterprises' proposal to Atlas Industries? Derek dropped his presentation remote. Thomas Chen's mouth opened and closed without producing sound. But Marcus looked like he'd seen a ghost. This is impossible, he stammered. You can't be, where is Richard Stone? We're supposed to meet with the CEO of Atlas Industries. I sat down, nodding to Emma, who began distributing folders. Richard Stone is an excellent CEO, but he reports to me. I'm Sarah Mitchell, founder and owner of Atlas Industries. I paused, enjoying the way Marcus seemed to shrink with each word. Though you might remember me better as the small-town nobody you fired yesterday. The silence that followed was absolute. Marcus had gone from pale to ashen, his designer suit suddenly seeming like an ill-fitting costume. Derek was frantically flipping through the documents Emma had distributed, his sales bravado completely evaporated. This isn't possible, Marcus repeated weakly. Atlas Industries is a billion-dollar company. 1.7 billion as of last quarter's valuation. I corrected him, though I suppose someone stuck in their old ways like me shouldn't brag about numbers. Thomas Chun found his voice first. Sarah, all these years, while you were our CTO, I built Atlas Industries in my spare time. I confirmed. Nights, weekends, vacation days, all while giving Harrison Enterprises my absolute best during working hours. Unlike some, I glanced at Marcus. I understand the value of hard work and loyalty. Marcus's face flushed red. If you own Atlas, why did you stay at Harrison Enterprises? Why work for us at all? Because your father believed in me, I said simply. He gave me a chance when no one else would. I wanted to honor that trust, help build his legacy. I stood up, walking slowly around the table. But you, Marcus, you took that legacy and treated it like a toy. You pushed out valuable employees, alienated loyal clients, and chased trending buzzwords instead of building sustainable growth. I stopped beside Marcus's chair. Yesterday, you told me to try teaching basic computer skills. Today, you're here because Harrison Enterprises is bleeding clients, burning through cash, and desperately needs Atlas Industries' help to survive. Ironic, isn't it? Marcus slumped in his chair, the full weight of his mistake finally hitting him. The client meetings you handled, the relationships you built, they're all moving to Atlas now, aren't they? I returned to my seat, opening one of the folders Emma had distributed. Not all of them. Only the ones who recognize the value of working with a company that puts their needs first. By my last count, that's about 60% of Harrison's major clients. You can't do this, Marcus protested, but his voice lacked conviction. It's not fair. Fair. I raised an eyebrow. Like how you treated the employees who built your father's company. Like how you dismissed 15 years of my dedication because you thought I was beneath you. I pulled out a document and slid it across the table. Here's what's going to happen. Atlas Industries is prepared to acquire Harrison Enterprises. The terms are non-negotiable. You can either accept our offer or watch as your father's company continues its decline under your leadership. You want to buy us out? Thomas Chun asked, already reaching for the document. Not quite, I corrected him. Atlas Industries will assume control of operations. Marcus will step down as CEO, effective immediately. The board will be restructured, and the company will return to the principles that made it successful under Mr. Harrison's leadership. Marcus shot to his feet, his chair clattering backward. You can't do this. I won't let you. Marcus. Thomas Chin cut him off sharply. Sit down and be quiet. You've done enough damage. He turned to me, his expression grave. The terms of this offer, they're more generous than we deserve. I'm not doing this for revenge, I said quietly. Your father built something meaningful, Marcus, something that provided jobs, supported families, created real value in the world. I won't let you destroy that because of your ego. The next hour passed in a blur of signatures and legal requirements. Marcus sat in stunned silence as his authority was stripped away, piece by piece. When it was done, when Harrison Enterprises officially became a subsidiary of Atlas Industries, I stood to conclude the meeting. One last thing, I said, looking directly at Marcus. Clear out your office by the end of the day. Emma will show you out. As they filed out of the conference room, I heard Derek mutter to Marcus, Dude, you fired the wrong person. Standing at the window, watching the city spread out below, I felt no satisfaction in Marcus's humiliation. This wasn't about revenge. It was about protecting what his father had built, about ensuring that good people didn't suffer because of one man's arrogance. Emma appeared at my side with a coffee. Was it worth it, keeping Atlas a secret all these years? I thought about old Mr. Harrison, still recovering in his hospital bed. I thought about the employees at Harrison Enterprises who could now stop worrying about their jobs. I thought about the clients who would continue receiving the quality service they deserved. It wasn't about keeping secrets, I said finally. It was about building something meaningful, something that could make a difference when it really mattered. Little did I know this was just the beginning. Marcus might have been defeated, but he wasn't done fighting. And what he did next would force me to defend not just Harrison Enterprises, but everything I had built. Marcus Harrison might have lost control of his company, but wounded pride can be dangerous. I should have known he wouldn't accept defeat gracefully. The first attack came 3 days after the acquisition. I was reviewing quarterly projections when Emma burst into my office, her usual composure shattered. "Sarah, you need to see this." She handed me her tablet, open to a major tech news website. The headline made my blood run cold. Atlas Industries' hostile takeover of Harrison Enterprises, insider trading allegations. The article, citing anonymous sources close to the situation, suggested I had used my position as CTO to manipulate Harrison Enterprises' value, making it vulnerable to Atlas's takeover. It was a clever angle, one that played perfectly into Marcus's narrative of betrayal. "Get our legal team on this immediately," I told Emma, already reaching for my phone, and set up a meeting with the board. My phone buzzed with an incoming call. Thomas Chun. "Sarah," his voice was tight with concern. "Have you seen the article?"
Yes.
"Marcus's handiwork, I assume." "He's not just throwing accusations around," Thomas warned. "He's filed formal complaints with the SEC. He's claiming you deliberately sabotaged projects, drove away clients, all to devalue the company for Atlas's benefit." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. The same projects he ordered us to abandon? The same clients he alienated with his visionary pivots. "You and I know that, but perception matters. The market is already reacting." He was right. By afternoon, Atlas's stock had dropped 12%. Several major clients put their contracts on hold, waiting to see how the scandal would play out. Marcus had found the perfect way to hurt me, by threatening everything I'd built. But he'd forgotten one crucial detail. I had receipts. Lots of them. I spent the next week working with our legal team, compiling evidence. Every project Marcus had killed, every client relationship he'd damaged, every reckless decision, all meticulously documented. Emails, meeting recordings, financial reports, a perfect paper trail of his mismanagement. Then came the counterattack. "Ladies and gentlemen," I addressed the hastily assembled press conference, cameras flashing as I took the podium. "Recent allegations have been made about the circumstances surrounding Atlas Industries' acquisition of Harrison Enterprises. Today, I'm releasing all documentation related to that acquisition, including evidence that tells the real story." One by one, I laid out the facts. Marcus's decision to abandon profitable product lines for speculative ventures, the mass exodus of experienced employees, the millions wasted on his NFT marketplace and other failed initiatives. Each point was backed by irrefutable evidence. Furthermore, I continued, I'm announcing that Atlas Industries will be establishing the Harrison Innovation Fund, a $50 million investment in emerging technology companies. This fund will honor the legacy of James Harrison, focusing on the principles of sustainable growth and genuine innovation that he championed. The reaction was immediate. Atlas's stock rebounded. Clients who had wavered reached out to reaffirm their commitment. But the most significant response came from an unexpected
source.
2 days after the press conference, I received a call from the hospital. Old Mr. Harrison wanted to see me. He was sitting up in bed when I arrived, looking frielier than I remembered, but with the same sharp intelligence in his eyes. A newspaper lay on his lap, open to an article about the Harrison Innovation Fund. "Sit down, Sarah," he said, gesturing to the chair beside his bed. "Tell me everything." So I did. I told him about building Atlas Industries, about trying to protect his legacy, about Marcus's attacks, and how I defended against them. He listened in silence, his expression unreadable. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I always knew Marcus wasn't ready," he said softly. "I try to teach him that success isn't about quick wins or flashy moves. It's about building something that lasts." He looked at me, a hint of his old smile returning. "You understood that, didn't you?" "I had a good teacher," I replied, feeling tears prick at my eyes. He reached for my hand, his grip surprisingly strong. "The Innovation Fund, using my name for that, thank you. It's your legacy," I said simply. "It should help build more success stories." The next morning, Marcus made his final move. He called a press conference of his own, clearly planning another attack. But before he could speak, his father was wheeled onto the stage. James Harrison took the microphone, his voice weak but clear. "I've watched recent events with great interest. My son claims his company was stolen from him. He's wrong. Harrison Enterprises wasn't stolen. It was saved by someone who understood its true value, who protected its legacy when others would have squandered it." The room erupted in camera flashes as Marcus stood frozen, watching his last attempt at revenge crumble. "Sarah Mitchell," Mr. Harrison continued, "has my full support and gratitude. The Harrison Innovation Fund she established proves what I've always known. She understands that true success isn't measured by quarterly profits or trending technologies, but by the positive impact we create in the world." Marcus left the stage without a word. It was the last time I saw him in person, though I heard he started a cryptocurrency venture in Miami that failed within 6 months. 1 year later, I stood in the newly renovated Harrison Enterprises lobby, now a division of Atlas Industries. The building had been modernized, but we kept the core elements that made it special, including the wall of employee photos that Mr. Harrison had always maintained. "Ms. Mitchell," a young developer approached, clutching a laptop. "I had some ideas about improving our cloud infrastructure if you have time to look." I smiled, remembering another young developer who'd once nervously pitched ideas to a CEO who took the time to listen. "Of course, let's hear what you've got." The Harrison Innovation Fund has since helped launch dozens of successful startups. Old Mr. Harrison serves on its advisory board, his health improved enough for part-time work. And me? I still keep my old Harrison Enterprises ID badge in my desk drawer, not as a reminder of Marcus's humiliation, but as a reminder that success isn't about revenge or proving others wrong. It's about building something meaningful, something that outlasts personal victories or defeats. Sometimes, the best response to those who underestimate you isn't to prove them wrong immediately. It's to build something so significant that when they finally realize their mistake, it doesn't matter anymore. As for that small-town nobody Marcus once mocked, she now runs a technology empire worth billions. But more importantly, she's creating opportunities for other nobodies to prove their worth, just as old Mr. Harrison once did for her. Because in the end, that's what real success looks like, not tearing others down, but building others up. And that's a legacy worth protecting.